The night smelled of iron and wet soil. Beyond the ruins of the Irenos village, the wind carried whispers, not of people, but of the dead. A pale moon hung above the crumbled rooftops, its light touching the cracked statues of forgotten gods. No mortal lived here anymore. Only the echoes of prayers remained. From the distant ridge, two riders appeared, one cloaked in shadow, the other shining faintly under the moonlight. The first was Dracula, the lord of eternal blood. His horse's hooves made no sound. His eyes, crimson and calm, reflected centuries of hunger and memory. Beside him rode the Witcher, his silver hair tied back, his blade humming faintly against his back. His presence cut through the air like steel through fog. They said nothing for a long while. The village loomed below like a corpse awaiting burial. "Still think this place holds the key?" the Witcher asked, his voice deep and slow, carved with patience. Dracula smiled faintly, the corner of his lips curling with ageless arrogance. "Every curse has a root," he replied, "and this one smells like mine." The Witcher dismounted first, kneeling near a dried fountain. Inside its basin lay blood-black petals, flowers that bloomed only near the gates of the underworld. He ran his gloved fingers through the dust. "No life here," he murmured. "Not for 100 years." Dracula stepped closer, the ground beneath his boots cracking as if the earth itself feared him. "That's what they thought about me, too," he whispered. A faint hum rippled through the air. The wind shifted, carrying a low chant, distant, yet near. Somewhere, someone, or something was speaking the old tongue of Nyx, the goddess of night. The Witcher drew his sword. Dracula turned his gaze to the darkness. "Don't," he said softly. "It's not alive yet." But the sound grew. From beneath the soil, the villagers' graves began to tremble. A faint red glow emerged from the cracks. The Witcher's eyes narrowed. His blade pulsed with silver runes. Then came the first scream, a sound that no throat should make. Hands erupted from the ground, gray, veined, crawling with black worms. The Witcher struck down the first corpse, slicing it clean in two. The air filled with ash. Dracula watched, unmoving. His red eyes gleamed, and for a second, there was something like sadness in them. "Do you feel it?" he whispered. "This curse, it's older than us both." The Witcher didn't answer. He swung again, faster this time. His blade tore through the dead, their blood burning blue as if laced with moonlight. But one of the corpses, a woman's body, didn't fall. Her skin shimmered with stone. Her hair twisted like vines. "Medusa," the Witcher muttered. Dracula stepped forward, eyes narrowing. "No, a fragment of her curse. Someone has stolen her blood." The stone-faced corpse opened her eyes. For an instant, her gaze met theirs, and the air froze solid. The Witcher grunted, forcing his will against the freezing magic. Dracula's form turned into mist, slipping past her sight. Then, with a shriek that split the sky, the woman crumbled, shattering into dust. The glow faded. Silence returned. Only the whispering moon remained. The Witcher lowered his sword. Why would someone revive her curse here? Dracula knelt by the ashes, tracing a strange sigil burned into the ground, a spiral of serpents around a sun. "She's not the only one waking," he said softly. "The underworld gates are stirring again, and if the dead are rising." He looked at the Witcher, eyes burning faintly red. "Then we will soon face things we thought buried." The Witcher sheathed his sword. "I don't trust your kind," he said quietly. "But for now, we hunt together." Dracula gave a slow nod. "For now," he agreed, his voice like distant thunder. As they turned to leave, neither noticed the faint movement among the ruins. A goblin's golden eyes blinked behind a fallen statue, watching them with mischievous curiosity. In his clawed hand, he held a fragment of the stone woman's heart, glowing faintly green. The goblin grinned. The blood that never sleeps," he whispered to himself before scurrying into the shadows. And high above, from the mountain of Irenos, the stars flickered, one of them falling like a tear, streaking blue fire across the sky. Far away, in another world, Astraeus, the Fallen Star Mage, opened his eyes. The night had only begun. The moon hung low over the shattered roofs of Irenos village, bleeding silver light through the fog. Every shadow seemed to whisper. The air reeked of wet stone and burnt offerings. Somewhere beyond the broken chapel, a faint chittering echoed. Not human, not beast, something between a hiss and a laugh. Dracula stepped forward, his boots sinking into the mud, eyes glowing faint crimson. "He's near," he murmured, voice as cold as the night itself. The little creature who hoards secrets like bones. The Witcher, his silver hair glistening under moonlight, tightened his grip on his twin blades. Goblin blood has a smell, rust, fungus, and fear. He's hiding underground. Lightning cracked, revealing the village square, a statue of an angel half dissolved in black moss, its wings eaten by time. Beneath it, a trapdoor flickered open for a breath, then shut again. The Witcher saw it. Dracula didn't need to. He could hear the heartbeat beneath the soil. Together, they descended. The tunnels beneath Irenos were ancient, carved before the first kings, etched with sigils that glowed faint green when touched by human warmth. Each symbol whispered a fragment of the same curse. Blood remembers. Death repeats. At the heart of the tunnels, a candle burned, a single, trembling flame in a sea of bones. And beside it, the goblin. He was small, skin leathery, and wet like rotting bark, with glowing amber eyes. Around his neck hung a pouch made of dragon skin, and in his hand, a shard of stone pulsing with red light. "You shouldn't have come, Witcher," the goblin croaked. "And you, vampire prince, eater of kings, your shadow is still cursed." Dracula's lips curled, revealing the edge of his fangs. "Give me what you stole, little rat. The fragment belongs to me." The goblin laughed, a hideous, squealing sound. "It belongs to her," he shrieked. "To the one whose heart turned to stone, whose gaze froze the gods, Medusa." The Witcher frowned. "Medusa was destroyed centuries ago." "Destroyed?" The goblin grinned, exposing teeth filed like needles. "No, only shattered. Each piece of her heart was bound to a different curse, one for blood, one for fire, one for sea, one for star." He lifted the shard, and the air began to tremble. From the darkness behind him, whispers became wails, ghosts of the village, crawling out of the walls, faces pale and eyeless. The shard fed on their agony, glowing brighter until its crimson pulse matched the beat of a heart. Dracula hissed and lunged forward, his shadow splitting like wings. But before he could reach the goblin, a surge of light blasted him backward, the shard's power throwing him across the chamber. The Witcher stepped between them, steel drawn. "Tell me how to break this curse." "Break it," the goblin spat, blood running from his nose. "You can't break it. You can only feed it. Every death, every monster slain, the curse grows stronger." Dracula rose slowly, eyes burning red with fury. "Then let it feed," he growled. but not on me." He drove his clawed hand through the goblin's chest, but the creature didn't scream. Instead, it smiled. "Too late, she's awake." The shard shattered. A wave of black mist flooded the tunnels, twisting around the stone arches. The goblin's body crumbled into dust, but his eyes kept glowing, suspended in midair before fading into the dark. Above, the ground began to shake. Bells rang in the empty village, though no hands touched them. The Witcher looked up through the cracks. The sky had split open with a rift of red light. From its depths, a woman's voice echoed, distant and venomous. "Who dares disturb my sleep?" The Witcher froze. Dracula smiled, that cruel, ancient smile that knew what was coming. "Medusa," he whispered. The voice laughed, echoing like serpents slithering across marble. "No, not yet. Only the curse that remembers her." The mist seeped into Dracula's veins, blackening them. His reflection, in a puddle of water, began to shift, his face flickering between his own and something monstrous, scaled, divine. The Witcher dragged him away, both retreating toward the tunnel exit as the world groaned beneath them. Outside, the village's well erupted with green fire, the same sigils now burning across the sky. They emerged into the night just as the church spire collapsed behind them. Dracula's voice was low. "She's not gone. None of them are." The Witcher wiped the blood from his sword. "Then we hunt again." From the forest edge, unseen eyes watched, the faint silhouette of Anna standing beneath the dead trees, clutching an ancient book that pulsed faintly with the same red light as the shard. She whispered to herself, "They were never meant to find it this soon." And with that, the wind carried the last candle's flame into the night. The forest whispered secrets that no wind should carry. Between twisted trunks and rotting leaves, Anna moved like a shadow, her white dress stained with the soil of forgotten graves. The red glowing book in her hands pulsed faintly, matching the rhythm of her trembling heartbeat. Every few steps, a whisper escaped from its pages. "Blood awakens blood." She had been following them since the ruins. Dracula and the Witcher, the cursed and the killer, now bound by survival. But Anna's eyes were not filled with fear. They shimmered with something deeper, something forbidden. At the edge of the forest, a dying fire flickered. The Witcher sat sharpening his silver sword, the steady rasp of metal against stone echoing into the night. Dracula stood beside a fallen oak, staring into the flames, his reflection distorted, his veins still blackened from the curse. "You're losing control," the Witcher said, not looking up. "I've never been in control," Dracula replied, his voice low. "Not since the curse awoke." A silence followed, thick, heavy, almost holy. Then, from the dark, Anna stepped forward. "You shouldn't have come here," the Witcher warned, standing. "And yet, here I am," she said, her tone calm but cold. "I brought what you're looking for." She held up the red glowing book. The moment the light touched Dracula's eyes, his expression changed. Hunger, recognition, dread. "Where did you get this?" he asked. "From the chapel vault beneath Irenos. The goblin's tunnels led to it." The Witcher frowned. "That book shouldn't exist." Anna smiled faintly. "And yet it does. And it's waking up." Before either could move, the pages began to turn on their own, fast, furious, until they stopped on a sigil drawn in blood, a serpent biting its tail, surrounded by 3 names written in ancient ink. Dracula, Witcher, Medusa. The earth quivered. The Witcher's sword glowed faintly. Dracula took a step back. The book whispered in a woman's voice, To break the curse, one must betray the other. The Witcher's hand went to his blade. This is her game, he said. Medusa wants us to kill each other. Anna's eyes darkened. No, she whispered. It's my game now. From behind her, shadows began to move, soft at first, then solidifying into twisted forms. Hands, dozens of them, crawling out from the ground. The air reeked of death and salt. Dracula lunged forward, seizing Anna by the throat. You brought this here. Her lips curled into a cold smile. You think you're the only one cursed, she hissed. She marked me long before she marked you. The book fell from her grasp, and as it hit the ground, a wave of red mist spread outward, curling around the trees like living veins. The Witcher grabbed the book and slammed it shut, but the damage was done. The mist thickened, and within it appeared a silhouette of a woman, serpents for hair, eyes glowing like molten gold. Not solid, not alive, just an echo, but powerful enough to shake the earth. Dracula's voice dropped to a whisper. Medusa's curse has found a new host. Anna's veins glowed beneath her skin. Her irises shifted, not human anymore, not fully serpent either. She chose me, she said, her voice layered with another, a deeper, ancient tone. Because I didn't resist her. The Witcher stepped closer. Then I'll free you. You can't, she said, but you can run. The ground split beneath them, a fissure of red light and stone. Dracula pulled the Witcher back as Anna fell, her scream mixing with the echo of Medusa's laughter. The fissure closed, leaving only silence and smoke. Hours later, dawn crept through the fog. The Witcher stood over the ashes of the fire, silent. Dracula leaned against the tree, eyes distant, voice hollow. She betrayed us. No, the Witcher replied. She saved us, for now. Dracula looked at the horizon where the forest met the sea. The curse is spreading, and in the faint reflection of a puddle near his boots, Anna's face appeared, half human, half serpent, watching, smiling. You cannot outrun me, her voice whispered through the wind. The curse has already chosen its path. The horizon was ash and silence. By dawn, the forest of Irenos was gone, burned to black glass by the curse. The land moaned under invisible weight, as if the soil itself remembered pain. Above it all, the sky hung bruised and red, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. The Witcher walked alone through the ruins, cloak torn, sword at his side. He hadn't slept since the night Anna vanished. The echoes of her scream, half human, half snake, still haunted him. Every whisper of wind carried her voice. Every reflection shimmered with her eyes. He stopped near the shattered chapel door. Carved in its fallen wood was a mark, a serpent devouring its own tail. And beneath it, freshly drawn in blood, the queen rises. She's rebuilding herself, he murmured. From behind, a cold presence answered. No, Dracula said, emerging from the mist. His pale face was cracked by veins of black light. She's rebuilding us. The Witcher turned sharply, hand on sword. Dracula's shadow had grown long, unnatural, whispering as it moved. When he stepped closer, the ground beneath him froze solid. His curse had deepened. His reflection no longer matched his face. What did you do? The Witcher demanded. I listened, Dracula said softly, to the voices that sleep beneath this land. They told me of Astraeus, the Fallen Star Mage. He knows the curse. He watched it begin. The Witcher's eyes narrowed. A god who fell from the sky? A god who tried to rewrite it, Dracula replied, and failed. Lightning split the clouds above. The wind howled like something alive. Through the storm, a figure began to emerge, tall, draped in silver rags that shimmered like moonlight. His eyes were two burning stars. The air bent around him, and the world seemed to bow. Astraeus, the Fallen Star Mage. Two seekers. His voice echoed, half sound, half thought. One cursed by blood, one bound by duty. Both already doomed. The Witcher stepped forward. We need to end this curse. Medusa's spirit has returned, inside a woman named Anna. Astraeus' face shifted with sorrow. Not returned. Reborn. The curse was never about Medusa. She was only the vessel. The true curse lies in the blood of creation itself, and it now flows through all of you. Dracula's voice was a whisper. Then show us how to control it. The mage smiled faintly. Control? You do not control shadows. You become them. Before they could question him, he raised his hand, and the world around them shattered like glass. They found themselves standing in an endless desert of mirrors. Each mirror reflected a version of themselves, broken, monstrous, and ancient. The Witcher saw himself as a beast, eyes hollow, hands dripping with the blood of innocence. Dracula saw himself chained to a throne of bones, feeding on his own army. Astraeus stood between them. This is what the curse wants: reflection, not redemption. The more you fight it, the deeper it roots. The Witcher clenched his fists. Then we burn it out. Astraeus' eyes flared. And burn the world with it. Before an answer could form, a tremor passed through the desert. The mirrors cracked. The air darkened. From beneath the mirrored sands rose stone figures, soldiers frozen mid-scream, their eyes glowing faintly green. The Witcher recognized them instantly. Anna. Dracula turned toward the horizon. Through the red haze, a shape appeared, a woman made of stone and shadow, serpents flowing like smoke from her hair. She stood at the head of the stone army, Anna reborn as the shadow Medusa. Her voice was carried by the wind. You called for salvation. I brought evolution. Dracula's face tightened, his fangs glimmered. You brought ruin. No, she smiled coldly. I brought truth. The world doesn't need hunters or kings, only gods. The army began to march. Astraeus raised his staff, summoning a barrier of light, starlight colliding with shadow. The Witcher drew his sword, its runes burning white-hot. Dracula spread his arms, wings of mist unfurling like torn banners. The first clash shattered the silence. Stone met steel. Light met blood. The curse fed on every impact. And as the battle roared beneath the dying sun, Astraeus whispered through the chaos. This is only the beginning. When the sky falls again, the real war will start. The Witcher looked at him, voice strained. Then where will we stand? Astraeus' glowing eyes dimmed. On the wrong side of destiny.